A very welcome to all of you in this channel, which was really dead from last 4 to 5 months because of some reasons. And now we will be starting with regular videos. Now today we will be discussing exclusively for Maharashtra State Board students that what are the choices to be made after class 7 as an optional language. Because till your class 7, all of you in your class, you may ask that all of you were studying the same language, but now you would be bifurcated on your choice, which would have great impact better. So let's start with it. But before beginning this video, I would like to give you a short disclaimer because this is video is meant for only educational purpose. It is not meant by me to disrespect any language. All the statements which I have made here are based solely on my experience and the observation which I had done, research basically. So it's not that I'm saying something merely and you have to follow me. You can have your own opinion. This is my opinion, and it's my duty to put forth my opinion in front of you. Let's get started. Now, this quote I would like to remember in front of you before starting that sometimes the smallest decisions are made in your life that change your life forever, and this would be one of them, after all, in your school grades. Let's get to know some of the quick facts before we start our video. Now, till 7th class, we were studying the 3 languages. Now, I'm talking only about languages because the 3 things which you will not leave your life till 10th standard in Maharashtra State Board are maths, science, and social science. These 3 subjects you have to study ultimately. But for languages till 7th standard, you would study English, Marathi, and Hindi. In Maharashtra, in other state or in CBSE, the options may be different. So these are the 3 languages which you were studying till now, compulsorily for everyone. But from 7th class, sorry, from 8th class, you are entering into higher secondary section. You would have your choices, and but you can't live English and Marathi. English is a global language and Marathi is a language of Maharashtra. But now you have an option to choose between many languages or combination of them for your study. But now the thing is that your choice will determine your future marks till 10th standard and can affect your grade. These 3 years you have to live with that language. And once in 8th standard you take it, it it would be your school's decision that if you are weak at it after choosing to give you a different language or to leave with it till your 10th standard, whatever your grade may be. Now, because of this, you have to be very wise from this step. Take your decision wisely. So now the question which you must have arose in everybody's mind that what are the options I have? You basically have these 5 options. There can be some others, but 5 options are prominent. Sanskrit entire, Hindi entire, Sanskrit composite and Hindi composite, French composite and Hindi composite, German composite and Hindi composite. These are the textbook photographs of this first 3. There are other photographs. You can give an entire PDF on the website, which link I will be giving in the description. And now I'll explain what is this basically. Sanskrit and Hindi entire means you are taking the languages entirely. Only one language you have to study. For that, you would be appearing for 80 marks written paper plus 20 marks internal. This is assessment for your 10th and 9th standard. For your 8th standard, assessment would be made in a different way, which your school teachers will definitely tell you before the beginning of academic year. Next 3 options are Sanskrit composite, French composite, and German composite. For these first 3 languages, you would have 40 marks written paper plus 10 marks internal assessment. For Sanskrit, French, or German, and for Hindi composite, compulsorily you will again have a 40 marks written paper and a 10 marks internal assessment. Total comes up to 100 in both the cases. Okay, so now since we understood the options which we have, now we should see the advantages and drawbacks of taking each of these options. So, okay, let's get started with first language. Now, first option which you have is Sanskrit entire. This channel is based upon Sanskrit, so I have a lot of points to tell about it. Maybe for others, let there may be not as much as points which you are seeing now. Okay, so first thing is it's an ancient Indian language. Of course, it's linked with India. You will get lots of things which are about Indian culture, its traditions, values, everything. So it is like a opportunity for Indian literature lovers to explore it in detail till your 10th standard, at least 3 years of your life, so that uh, we can get more about it. Now, academic point of view, if we see, then it fetches good marks. You must have heard that Sanskrit fetches you good marks and upgrades your percentage in board exams. 10th standard board exams, you would be appearing for this optional language, and then if it would be your fortune, then you would score good marks because of it. And very good advantage is that less study and more of understanding. It's not like that you have to study a lot, like science and math. There are many difficult concepts, one linked with the other. No, less study, more of understanding. And what is the benefit? That helps you to focus on other subjects as crucial times of the 12 important exam. What are those 12 important exams? Are 4 exams a year into 3 years. So 12 important exams are there in your life from now onwards. So you can dedicate this time which is saved over here and utilize it over for your other languages and other subjects. Now, paper pattern is student friendly. You have a lot of options. If you omit even a single topic, it would not bother your marks too much. I'm not saying to omit anything, but it's a fact. Less writing content and paper presentation time valued. What is thing in languages? People think you have to write a lot, especially for state boards. Yes, you have to write a lot, but paper presentation time is valued because you complete your paper 3 hours paper in almost uh, an average student who had also studied can also complete it in 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So the remaining half hour to 20 minutes you can dedicate wholly to your paper presentation. So it can also upgrade your marks. And the content is also not too difficult. It's not like that any board exam, Sanskrit board exam was too much difficult than any other. No, but every coin has two sides, so there are drawbacks too, but limited. What is the thing? That you should be consistent from day one. If you leave this language even for a week, then it would be like connection in yoga. You could not connect the dots forward and you would be lacking out somewhere. People will be like giving the answers so quick, and you would be remain back because you gave a backlog. There was a backlog of 1 week. 1 week backlog is very much. You have to be in touch with this language from day one till the end. Now there is a lot of memorization and its application. The problem is not about memorization. Memorization can be done by logic too, but the application of it needs to be remembered. The topics which I have covered on my channel are also giving you the instances how you can memorize and how you can apply it. But what happens is you should be doing hard work in this skill. Now, one more thing is very prominent, which anyone would not tell, that spelling mistakes and other errors aren't acceptable. Means even if you do a single spelling mistake, you would lose an entire mark and you would not be even knowing. Next thing is, if not done with effort, then it can be a nightmare and choice to ruin your life. What thing is, everybody thinks that it is a scoring language, it will fetch me good marks. Yeah, it does. But for those who work upon it, for those who are consistent from first day, it's not like a magic wand, something would give you. If you are working enough, if you are understanding the topics, applying it, then yes, you can definitely score marks. But if not, if you pile up your work, then it's very difficult to score. And I have seen people scoring literally this score. I would not take the names or offense ho jayega. So this score is not acceptable, right? And what's the thing is, you are not dealing with this language from your childhood. You have been introduced it in 8th standard, and after 2 years, you have to give a board exam on the same language. So now you need to be prepared. I have to cope up with this language. Advanced grammar you learn. Rather, I'll say that you learn the entire grammar, basics grammar of Sanskrit till your 10th class. So that's the thing. But now the second choice about yours in your life will be Hindi entire. Hindi you are learning from your class 7, 5th. So again, there are some advantages and drawbacks. You have learned it already from 3 years. So you need not start from basics, you keep upgrading yourself. This is not key, you have to build a foundation now and then. The foundation, if you had worked hard till this 3 years, then it has been built. You just have to work hard upon it and make it stronger. Lessons are student friendly, linked with India, so you can easily cope up. There's not very something superficial and difficult. No. Lessons are quite easy, you can score marks easily. Paper pattern is quite comprehensive and helps an average student to fetch marks too. You can easily score 70 plus out of 80 if you are working really hard. And last thing, less by hearting and more of understanding. What is the advantage of Hindi entire is that you cannot by heart the things. You just have to understand them, apply them, and go ahead. And one stereotype is that those who are novice or like not good in studies are only taking Hindi entire. No, if your Hindi is really good, you can take Hindi entire. If you're not comfortable with Sanskrit, you can take Hindi entire. But there are few things which you should remember, which I would tell later. But again, the drawbacks are there. Writing skills are too much. You have to dedicate 26 marks of yours to these writing skills in your board exams. And it's not a risk of 26 marks, it's a risk of your efforts, it's a risk of your money. And you have to achieve a standard Hindi level. You cannot talk in Bombay Hindi level for your papers. Your paper talks on behalf of you, and you cannot let it talk in a vernacular Hindi language. You have to make it talk in a standard Hindi level, and it's a difficult to achieve. And errors should be minimum and language to be optimum. You cannot expect errors in this. Hindi is not about errors. It's all about the perfection. Perfection is always achieved by reading, comprehending it, and ultimately by observation. Concepts need to be remembered from first day as grammar contains a lot of it. There are ultimately 100 to 150 concepts in Hindi, more than any other language you would study, rather, I would say. So you should be, very coped up with it from first day. If you are not understanding, you can definitely ask your teachers, and it can be a hindrance while studying other subjects. Why are you taking an optional language? So that your burden upon this language would be lessened. You can focus more on others. But if you are weak in Hindi, then you have to dedicate your time for it, because ultimately it affects your grade. And if you do not understand it, ultimately it will affect your marks. And you have to dedicate sufficient time for it. It's not like Sanskrit. If you understand it well, you can leave it for a time and then practice other things. No, you have to be daily practicing Hindi. Poems are tougher as compared to your Marathi or English. They are from all the ancient Hindi texts. Teachers will make you understand, but efforts are to be done from yourself. So that's all about India. Next is about French composite and Hindi composite. French is not an Indian language, but if you are very well versed in that, you can definitely take. Some students are like learning it from their first or second class. The classes are available nowadays. So if you are very well at it, you can definitely take it. But beware that if your school does not contain a French as an option, like French teachers are not easily available, German teachers are not easily available. So if your school doesn't contain, then you are withhold from it. Then it's like schools mostly have the first two options only, and some schools have only the first option or only the second option. So that's the thing. Now the advantage is that you can get to study two languages. The marks are bifurcated, so your writing time reduces. Means for 80 marks paper, when you get only 3 hours, here you get 2 plus 2, literally 1 hour extra for your two languages. But again, these are some of the advantages. You can definitely take a screenshot of it. But what happens is you are keeping your leg on two stones same time. If both of them work, then your efforts would be fulfilled. But if both of them fail, then what would happen is you would not be on either one side. If one of them is like a hindrance for you, you would not score good marks ultimately. You have to be consistent from day one in both the languages. Four languages we would be learning from now on. Grammar would be all different from all them. It's not like English and French grammar is same. No. Hindi and Marathi grammar is same. No. Writing skills pattern is different and all very different things are there. And again, one more very big disadvantage is that teachers are less. You cannot consult a different teacher very easily unless and until you live in a very good area. If you are living in a city area, then it's fine. Then you can consult a different teacher easily, as teachers may be available. But for a rural area, French teachers to get available is very rare. So it's an option eliminated by most of the schools because of this. But if your luck is very good, then you can definitely go for it. Next option is German Composite and Hindi Composite. Now, German option, I personally, while studying from 8th to 10th, got to know in ninth class, in my coaching class only. Because what happens is, German is a very rare option which you take. French was available in most of the schools I knew before. But German as an option was very rare. It was like something one in 30,000 schools of Maharashtra take it. Sorry. So German is a very rare language. Papers, I don't know because I don't have any idea. It may be good, it may be bad. But again, you have to keep your legs on two stones. You have to be consistent. And what happens is, if you don't succeed in both of them, then it would be your nightmare. You have to concentrate on more on your other subjects. So again, taking German and Hindi at the same time, it's your choice. So now, what's the best choice? Yes, you may be thinking that what did I omit something? Yes, I have omitted Sanskrit Composite and Hindi Composite. This option is available in most of the schools. But what's the reason for not taking this is you get the advantages of Sanskrit entire, India entire. You get the disadvantages of both of them. So what's the point doing writing separately? If you want, you can play the video again. You can understand it. I guess the best choice from this is included in the next slide. And you would be having a question that what I had chosen. So let's see. Okay. So what's the answer is either Hindi entire, either Sanskrit entire, and the precisely Sanskrit entire only. But I'll tell you, you can score marks easily in Sanskrit entire once you understand it. But efforts of yours are most important. Hindi entire because you have to concentrate again on the one language only. But when you take two languages simultaneously, you have to dedicate more time. Suppose say if you dedicate 3 hours a week for either Hindi or Sanskrit entire. Then you can't bifurcate them into 1.5 and 1.5 individually for Hindi and Sanskrit composite, French or Hindi composite, and German or Hindi composite. You have to dedicate 2 hours each. Why I'll tell you? Because if you dedicate only 1.5 hours, you cannot complete a topic. You would be left out from others, and again, the same thing will happen. It would be a nightmare. If you take Sanskrit, you can save your time, you can dedicate it for other subjects, you can score good marks, and you can be one of those students who would know the values of life and who would be one of those who would uh, get a better career. And one more thing I would like to tell you, these are some of my opinions. I had even taken Sanskrit entire, and what thing happens because of this is I could channelize my time again. Hindi entire is not a bad option, but taking two languages could be a bad option. If you are already taking it and if you have the better sides of it, you can share it with me. But what is my opinion is I have put forth. And yes, what I'll tell you is it's not that Sanskrit entire or Sanskrit you take is limited for only till your 10th standard. After your 10th standard also you can take it for 11th and 12th. For that we would make a separate video if you are demanding it, or else we would leave the topic. So now we come to the end of our video. Please do like, share, and subscribe for more such content. And you can post new topics in the comments. Besides that, I have some list of the topics which I will be posting regularly now. So stay tuned, like, share, subscribe, and I'll meet you in the next one very soon. Thanks for watching.